Hey, it's Chris from the Game Boys, and well, G4 happened.
Baba Booey.
For those of you out there asking, Chris, what the hell is a G4? G4 was a cable network that aired from about the mid-90s to 2013. They were originally called Tech TV, and they talked everything technology. Eventually, they would also encompass video games into the channel, and that's when I started to really pay attention. And I'll be honest, man, G4 was like my favorite TV network growing up. I loved everything about it. I loved X-Play, I loved Cinematech, I loved Attack of the Show, I loved Code Monkeys, I loved Judgment Day. Like, everything about it was awesome. And it really felt like a safe haven. Because at school, this was way before the time where playing video games was seen as an acceptable hobby. Like, you were made fun of at school for playing it, at least anywhere past elementary school. You were like, you know, looked pretty down at for still playing video games. But when I came home and watched G4, I felt like I was like a part of something. Like they were speaking directly to me. And it felt special. And it felt really good to know that there was other people out there that enjoy this hobby. And I loved it. I loved I loved watching Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb like either talk really highly about a video game or completely shit on a video game. I loved watching Attack the Show with the crazy nonsense that Olivia Munn would do, and Kevin Pereira with the crazy nonsense that he would do. Code Monkeys was hysterical. Like, it was really like a home for nerds, like the only home for nerds at the time. Eventually, the network would start to degrade, and they'd show American Ninja Warrior and Cops over and over again for some reason, and they started talking a lot less about tech and just showing nonsense for a long time. And eventually it got to the point where they had to shut down in 2013. The channel went away, and I was pretty upset about it, but they were replaced by a bunch of YouTube channels and a bunch of other internet shows, so it wasn't the end of the world, but I was still pretty sad because the channel really did mean a lot to me. I loved G4. Then, when I heard they were coming back in 2020 and that they needed hosts for some of their programs, I was over the fucking moon. I needed to be a part of this. I got my friends Max and I got my friend Mike to participate, and we each submitted basically a demo reel or an audition reel for the show. After we submitted our reels, we sent it out to G4 and we basically heard nothing back. And we thought, oh, okay, well, I guess that's the end of that then. That's dream over. Because when I say dream over, I really do mean dream. Like, I always dreamed when I was a kid of working for G4. Like, that was like the pinnacle. I would love to be able to talk about video games for a living. That would be incredible. So we sent out the audition. We didn't hear anything back from them for months. And then, like, 5 months later, I got an email back from G4 saying, hey, we loved your audition. We want you to continue the audition process. And I was like, oh my god, this is happening. This is really happening. This is like a dream come true. Holy shit. This is incredible. I reached out to Max and I reached out to Mike, and they didn't get an email back, but they were extremely supportive of me, and they were more than willing to do anything to help me out with this process. And I'm super grateful to have those guys as friends. In the email, it said they wanted me to do a couple of things. They wanted me to give my full name, and they wanted me to do a game review, like a mock game review, and they also wanted me to do one other video where they wanted me to impersonate a celebrity, and they wanted me to impersonate a video game character. I was much more comfortable doing video game reviews because I've been doing that for a very long time now. And, well, this is what I did.
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
Oh yeah, Crazy Taxi, one of the greatest arcade-style games of all time. And if you don't think so, you are just plain. Everything about it is almost flawless, from the fast-paced gameplay to the great controls and the incredibly upbeat soundtrack. Huh. Well, maybe it's not as upbeat as I remember. But anyway, all jokes aside, Crazy Taxi is one of my favorite games, and I could not be more excited to finally get the chance to talk about it. Toss me the game. What the f*** is this? So yeah, apparently I get to talk about Crazy Taxi for the Game Boy Advanced, the system that brought us great ports such as Serious Sam and Medal of Honor Underground Oh boy. Well, actually, you know what? This seems kind of okay so far. They kept the announcer that sounds like he smoked since he was an infant.
Alright, let's go make some crazy money.
And the menu doesn't seem too bad. Maybe when we get into the game, oh dear God, what am I looking at? What is this? What is that? No, seriously, what the f is that? So I'm not sure if you can tell, but the graphics are not exactly, what's the word? Good. I understand that this is the Game Boy Advance and there's only so much you can do, but after playing this game for a few hours, I feel like I would have done less damage to my eyes if I had stared directly at the surface of the f***ing sun. But graphics aside, is the rest of the game at least decent? Well, here's a spoiler.
No!
The controls are so clunky that simple things that cabs should be able to do, such as, you know, turn, can be difficult. The game seems to move at roughly 3 frames a second, and you can never tell if you're about to run into anything because the draw distance is so terrible that you almost can't see anything unless it's right in front of your face. Not that you really want to stare at what's coming at you on the road anyway, since there are only about 3 cars you can look at and you see them over and over and over and over and over. You get the point. The sounds are also just as bad. So if you've been blessed with both the gift of sight and hearing, congratulations, your gift is now a curse. Everything that made the original game great has been stripped away. The sense of speed, gone. Large level, gone. The soundtrack,
Ooh, you better believe that.
gone. Also, where's the KFC? You can't have a Crazy Taxi game unless there's a KFC in it, god damn it!
It's the only way that you're going to get chicken that is f***ing good.
I can keep going, but I've only been given 3 paragraphs to work with, so just know this. If you need your Crazy Taxi fix on the go, Crazy Taxi Fare Wars for the PSP is infinitely better, and has both Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 packaged with it. If you have Sony's old handheld lying around, I highly recommend picking it up. As for the GBA version, you can give them credit for being ambitious, but at the end of the day, Crazy Taxi for the GBA should not have been allowed on the road.
Whoa, no license.
I give it a 1 out of 5. I always wanted to say that. And oddly enough, that review would later inspire our Crazy Taxi review, which came out a couple of months later, so that was pretty cool. The other thing they wanted was for me to impersonate a celebrity and a video game character, and I can do okay imitations, but I can't do great imitations. So I reached out to them saying, hey, is there any specific way you want me to do this? And they said, no, we want you to send it in 2 separate videos, just get creative with it. And they wanted 1 minute each of each video. So I said, okay, well, I'll get creative with it, but instead of sending just 1 minute of me talking to the camera and saying nothing, what if I did like a little story with it and I sent that as my audition tape? I'm pretty happy with how it came out, although it may be a little cringy depending on how you look at it, but here's what I sent them. And now, a special message from the Mushroom Kingdom. Hello, it's me, Mario. Yahoo! Thank you so much for playing my games, but I think it's time we get serious for a moment. In my adventures, you may notice that I use mushrooms in order to power up. But in reality, mushrooms make you do all sorts of crazy things, like make you think Goombas look like this. Or, even crazier, make you think that Princess Peach killed her father in order to take over the Mushroom Kingdom so she can get absolute totalitarian rule. That would just be silly. So here to talk about the dangers of mushroom overdose is a Princess Peach.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bernie Sanders, and I have hacked this broadcast in order to warn you that this propaganda will not stand. Princess Peach has been trying to hoard the wealth for the 1% while keeping all the blue-collar toads of the Mushroom Kingdom silenced. Isn't it weird that when the king said he was going to make mushrooms free for all toads and he was going to redistribute the coins, that he suddenly disappears? Where is King Toadstool? He has been gone for the past 25 years, and I believe Princess Peach is responsible. We cannot let our government be run by somebody who gets kidnapped every 3 days.
Insulting our system.
Oh,
Take the dogs
oh God!
right there. Should have sent you 5 You're too old for this.
He retired years ago. This is way
The system means everything.
Mamma mia. And that was the video, so I sent that out to them, and they got back to me like within 3 days or something really quickly. It was really fast. And they said, we loved your tape, we loved what you did, now we want to move you on to the second part of the audition. And I was like, yes, oh my god, this is really happening, this is really happening. And they said to me, okay, now we want you to write a late night show style monologue about video games. And they gave me a list of topics I can talk about. And they also want me to write a 2-page skit that you'd see on like Attack of the Show or X-Play. And I was like, okay, I can do this. So I reached out to my buddy Jason, who helped me write the monologue. And I reached out to my buddy Mike, who helped me write the skit. And the monologue, I thought came out pretty well, but it was the first time I ever wrote like a joke monologue. I've never really wrote in that comedy style before, so I was pretty new to it. And I could just like scan it and show it to you guys like on a Google document or something like that, but I'll show you what I did like this. Welcome back to G4. Much like zombies and Robert Pattinson's career, we've risen from the dead. So I don't know if you know this, but 2020 was kind of interesting. We've been so busy trying to, not die, that we haven't had much time to think about the positives. Well, here's a huge positive for you. Despite everything, Nintendo World has opened up at Universal Studios Japan. Yeah, what better way to say family fun than having somebody dressed up as a middle-aged plumber that eats mushrooms walk around and hug small children? I'm sure the parents are very excited, as are the lawyers. At the theme park, there's going to be a Pokemon experience where Pikachu and Mickey Mouse fight in a battle to the death to see who's going to be the better mouse mascot. My money's on the mouse that survived World War II, Vietnam, and the war to pull him into the public domain. Samus fans should be excited as we hear there's going to be a Metroid ride. Nintendo said they wanted to keep the ride up to the high standards they've set for modern Metroid Prime, so at the end of the line, you'll see a notice that the ride has been delayed indefinitely. There's also going to be a Mario Party escape room. You and 3 friends are given 20 coins, and you go around the room looking for stars. If somebody steals your star, you can either forgive them or bludgeon them to death with an NES zapper. Parkgoers say it replicates a real Mario Party game, which means the experience has a 95% mortality rate. What I'm most interested in is the Mario Kart roller coaster. You're going to be in a coaster and given AR goggles to see various game items in the real world. That's not a joke. Here's a fun fact. According to the original patent, the ride was going to be VR instead of AR, and in order to save money, Nintendo designed the ride using unsold Virtual Boiz. We got an invitation to test it out, so naturally we sent one of our interns. Bethesda's announced they're partnering with Lucasfilm to make a new Indiana Jones game. Todd Howard said that he was a lifelong indie fan, and that he's been trying for 10 years to make this game. It's a shame he didn't feel that same way about Fallout 76. Instead of taking 10 years to make that game, he took about 10 minutes, stitched some code together on Windows 95, and now people have forgotten about it faster than they forgot about Quibi. Listen, if the Indiana Jones game runs on the Skyrim engine, this actually makes a lot of sense. Much like Indiana Jones, they're both old, both have seen its share of bugs, and both have outlived their usefulness. Harrison, please don't kill me in my sleep. Speaking of bugs, Cyberpunk. PlayStation is not only giving refunds for people who bought Cyberpunk 2077, but it's getting removed from the PlayStation Store entirely. Listen, Cyberpunk may have had a couple of problems, such as the developers lying about how well it runs on console, sound mixing errors, bad textures, characters getting stuck in T-poses, characters teleporting through walls, and constant crashes that make the game borderline unplayable. But is it really that bad? Have you seen what's on the PlayStation Store? Here's a new segment we like to call Games Sony Believes Are Objectively Better Than Cyberpunk 2077. Number 3, My Life is Mayo, a game where the whole point is to tap a jar of mayonnaise 1,000 times. Number 2, Orc Slayer, a game that looks like it was programmed by somebody who was kidnapped and told to make an N64 game while blindfolded. Finally, number 1, Life of Black Tiger. I don't even need to say anything about this game. Just look at this clip. So how Sony can pull down Cyberpunk but keep any of these games on the store is baffling. I mean, for God's sake. Okay, well, maybe Sony has a point. So yeah, I apologize for that. It may be a little cringe, and a lot of the jokes are outdated, but I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty proud with how it came out, considering I never wrote a monologue like that before. And I don't know, I still think some of those jokes are funny. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still very happy with how that came out. And the skit that I did was called Battle Royale the Game, where I was just making fun of Battle Royale games. I was pretty happy with how that came out. Although, unfortunately, I would need a lot more time to film that one because it was fairly big budget for a comedy skit. But yeah, I sent that out to them, and I did not hear back from them after that. They never reached back out to me, they never said anything, and I was pretty crestfallen. Like, I was like, oh man, I got so close to this like childhood dream, and I didn't reach it, and you know, it stung. So a couple of months after that, I reached back out to the people at G4, and I said, hey guys, I just want to let you know I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this, even though you probably picked somebody else at this point. I just want to say thank you. And they reached back out to me, and they said, no, keep an eye out. We're making an announcement for who it is really soon. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm still in the running. Maybe I still have a chance at this. And it turned out it was not me. it was not me. I don't know why they couldn't have just came out and said that. But I essentially got my heart broken twice in a row. So that was fun. But I will say, like, the guy they wound up giving it to absolutely deserved it. I saw an interview he did with Adam Sessler, and he knew, like, all the G4 lore. He even remembered an episode where Adam died by eating fugu. And I didn't think anybody would remember that except for me, but Jeffosaurus, I think his name is, you absolutely earned your spot on G4. Congratulations, man. You really did. But here's the thing. They said at the beginning of the contest that it was G4 needs talent. Then, by the end of the contest, they said, oh no, we're looking for talented production assistants. Which to me seems kinda scummy. Like, you told us essentially, without saying it, but saying it, that we were going to be on-air talent, but then we're just going to be behind-the-scenes people instead. Like, that seems kind of messed up. Like, Jeffosaurus, if you're out there, I would love to talk with you, and I would love to know, like, what they put you through, like, what they had you do at the network. I'm genuinely curious. Please reach out to me if you can. But yeah, that was my brief experience with G4. They were very nice, they were very cordial, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't get the job considering what G4 became. The content was, I wouldn't say unwatchable, but a lot of it wasn't very good. Like, you can get a lot better video game content on YouTube by looking anywhere else. And the personalities were okay, but they definitely didn't have the same charisma that was there before on the old network when it aired on TV. And it was just kind of sad to watch what happened happen. It was, yeah, it was definitely something. And man, what happened to Adam Sessler was just heartbreaking. Like, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's going through some shit right now, and I just kind of feel bad for him. Adam, if you're out there, man, like, I'm really sorry you're going through whatever it is you're going through, but, like, some of the stuff you're saying on Twitter, like, you need to stop. You need to stop. It's completely ruining whatever reputation you got left at this point. It really sucks. I looked up to him a lot when I was watching X-Play, and I feel like a lot of my sense of humor I get from him, and to see what he became now really stings. It really hurts. But, you know, I try to remember the network as what it was, not what it became. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy that they reached out to me, because maybe there is something to this whole comedy gaming thing that I'm trying. I was pretty, you know, upset that I wasn't picked, but again, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, who knows. Why am I making this video? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm just doing this for me. just to say, hey, you did it. Like, you got the attention of somebody that meant a lot to you growing up, and you know, it's something. I don't think I ever talked directly with like Adam Slessler. I was probably talking with a new hire, but still, even the fact that I was considered, you know, is pretty meaningful. Yeah, thank you guys for listening to this rant and for watching our lost videos. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this all the way through. Hey, if you want to follow us, please hit the subscribe button. We have more videos coming up. We have a TikTok that we post pretty frequently on. That's where the vast majority of our viewers come from. And yeah, rest in peace, G4.